Hello there, everyone. Welcome to the TCG, and this is going to be a video of the Destined Rivals meta and upcoming things and environment right now. So, in this video, we're going to take a look at the current meta and the kind of predictions for, what the top decks are in Pokemon right now and what the best decks might be and how it's looking. But a lot of creators have, of course, already done their own tier lists and things like that, breaking things down. But I also want to include an interesting insight into maybe the Japanese meta. We're going to dive into a little bit as well to kind of see that again. Like, even though we have different formats and stuff, it is still the same cards, and it's fun to kind of have another perspective. So I would love to look at our main meta, but then also what Japan might think is strong and other breakdowns, because we can learn this together and everything. So of course we have right now kind of many decks, but our main ones, you gotta be, it's Dragapult EX and Gardevoir EX, baby. And I mean, Raging Bolt's up there too. Like, yeah, you can see from here, there's a lot, but a lot of Dragapult, a lot of other things. But this is all Limitless stuff. Of course, I'll have everything linked below, but we're gonna go through. And as I said, I kind of want to look here. We can consume some of the Japanese content too, which I think might be interesting. And I say consume for a reason, because if we check out Pokekameshi up here, I'll have it linked below and stuff. But if we go here, meshi, I believe it can mean food and stuff. And so Pokeka is kind of what Pokemon cards and stuff is referred to in Japan, like Pokeka book. But Pokekameshi is kind of like it feeds your Pokemon card hunger, in a sense, I would say, the content. So there's a lot of good content and stuff here and other places. If we go ahead and like just do the auto instead of trying to like go through everything, like I said, I try and go through stuff, or I try and do a lot of reading and keep up with the Japanese meta and other things as well. But it is fun to kind of share info as well, because I really think it's interesting and it's really helpful. And like I said, I mean, these articles and authors are fantastic, and it's really interesting to, like I said, let's go ahead and dive into another sort of meta that's not too different, but I mean, it's a little, and just kind of see what the thoughts are, because right now it looks like, at least in Japan, tier 1 might be Raging Bolt. according to this. I mean, this has been a little bit, but we're gonna be seeing new decks with Destined Rivals. We are anticipating some like come ups from Grimmsnarl, especially. This one is getting a lot of hype and stuff, along with, of course, Dragapult. Charizard is doing well, but that one is one with a caveat, because I think our metas are quite different, due to us not getting Psyduck, and that is why we may not see as much Charizard as Japan does. And so that is one to keep in mind. But we also see like the heavy hitters down here. We also see Ethan's Typhlosion as a new deck coming in Destined Rivals as well, that I think a lot of people are excited about and want to get their hands on playing. It's very exciting. You definitely can right now. It's really awesome to have a new set out. And it's really cool. And even here, I think there it says that we overseas environment. So environment, by the way, is usually the word for like meta, at least what it's like being intended. So environment doesn't like yeah, what the game is looking like. So in the Destined Rivals environment, for example, is what we can look at. And I think, yeah, if we go here, so Raketo Dan no Eikyo, I think it's Eiko, like the glory of Team Rocket, and then Kankyo, which is environment, I guess. And that's kind of the idea. So starting on Friday, May 31st, packs equivalent to Team Rocket's glory will be implemented in overseas environments, making them closer to the environment in Japan. Awesome. They're keeping an eye on us over here too. Anyway, so Takeru Daiko is gonna be Raikou, or Raging Bolt, Raikou is in the name. As you can see here, this deck is very strong and powerful. It's got these owl engine stuff going for it, which makes it really nice and versatile. It also has like Iron Leaves that is covering for some of its weaker points, really prepping for that Charizard, I think, too, in the meta, as well as other possible threats. Other dark types and stuff. I think is Grimmsnarl might be weak to grass because it's dark. We're gonna have to see. Let me see. I should know this. I wanted to double check. So yeah, a big grass weakness here as well. So the Iron Leaves is actually really useful for that, since it would hit for weakness, for example. But this deck's got it, and it's got the Baby Raging Bolt and even the Slitherwing. Like, it's really cool to see. And there's even a lot of resources that really break down compatibility matchups with the other things. So advantageous, slightly advantageous, even, slightly unfair. So if we look at this, little chart here, we do have the Japanese names, and this is going to be your chance to learn some Japanese Pokemon names as well. Isn't that fun? So we have Doraporuto, I guess. You're going to have to forgive my horrible pronunciation. It's a skill to be worked on, but that is going to be Dragapult. And then Surfugo is going to be Gholdengo. And then there's maybe a slightly advantageous edge to it. Boosta is going to be Flareon EX. Not so good with that, perhaps. Bridgerasu, which is going to be Arcaludon, kind of even. Zoroark was going to be Zoroark, might be slightly advantageous there. Takeru Raikou being like the mirror, kind of even. And then Rizodon is Charizard. Looks like it's not great, even though I guess that's why the tech is in there too, but perhaps it's not enough. And then we got these guys. Sir Naito is going to be Gardevoir EX. We even have some card meal memo. See the meal reference. I like it. I like it. See, this is where you can go to feed your hunger. Hopefully, I can help you with that hunger too. Stable deck. Very strong. If you want to win but don't know what to use, you can't go wrong with Takeru Daiko, for sure. Low accident rate. I like that phrasing. I mean, it's true though. Takeru Daiko is pretty good to just kind of go run with and slam, and it's good to just pick up and play. And really good if you want to pick up a competitive deck, because I would say, yeah, it's competitive and it's popular right now. And if we want to look at changes here specific to the new Team Rocket's glory, Team Rocket Watchtower is one. And so decks potentially using 4 stadiums might be going up. So if we see a lot of uptick in, say, Team Rocket Watchtower or other stadiums being utilized, there is a mention of Paujian, good old Chien Pao, the Sink It to the Snow card, potentially that, like, doesn't let you do stadium stuff. I love that one. I gotta double check it. Snow Sink? Yeah, Snow Sink. Snow Sink here, when you play this Pokemon from your hand onto your bench during your turn, you may discard a stadium in play. Wonder if we're going to be seeing something like this, but I don't know. We'll see. That's why it's cool to see these predictions. Now, the use of Chibohohane as a countermeasure, I think that's going to be Slitherwing. Yeah, that's going to be Slitherwing here. Slitherwing being a counter against Pikachu EX, so that is a possibility. We might be seeing the little baby Raging Bolt to kill things off the bench, but then also the Slitherwing, because Pikachu might be on a rise. If we are looking at decks with, say, Joltik Box, utilizing that heavily, I would say. But there's other decks, of course, that run Pikachu, but that one is one that takes advantage of it really well as, you know, some things. Really cool stuff. Marnie's Orbeetle, I think that's definitely the typo of the translator. We're talking about Grimmsnarl. Grimmsnarl's really cool and on the rise. This one is also including Frostlass, Monkey Dory to kind of move around damage. It's really interesting deck, and I think it's going to be interesting to see it go forward. Really cool. Batoru Patanazu, Battle Partners, Konkyo. If we look at another really popular deck that's been doing well, of course, and expected, is going to be Dragapult, of course. Can be Dragapult Dusknoir, very strong, especially where we have it. And then compatibility-wise, more stuff here. The meal memo, the attacker and system are completed in the evolution line. So, yeah, I think that really sums up that Dodonchi, yeah, the Dracloak, the little cloak guy, super useful. The deck is so strong in part because your middle stage is such a good support Pokemon because it gets to draw 2 cards and you get to keep one and bottom deck another one, but that's awesome. And the fact that you can just evolve again easily when you already have these guys in play already, it's wonderful. And so it is going to be having that big praise. There's always details about it with the more summary, but again, I think another interesting difference is going to be Charizard. because there has been an uptake with it, and maybe we see it or maybe not here. I don't know if we are going to have it break in. I'm not sure, but I kind of don't know for sure. I don't think. We'll see. This one is interesting. This is going to be like a Charizard, Terrapagos, Pidgeot, Hoothoot. There's so many birds. There's Dragapult and Dusknoir too. I mean, there's oh my gosh, that would be amazing, but there's Dusknoir too. Wow. This is wild. But I I like the wild list. The Bomb Charizard type. Yes, Cursed Bomb is right. Gardevoir EX. So Gardevoir EX is going to be an interesting divergence point from Japan and the West as well. Because although Japan doesn't quite use Gardevoir or Surnaito as much, if we go to our little graph thing, we can see that it took up only... we can see Surnaito is going to be this pink one at 4.1%. And that is something. Whereas over here, and we just had a big showing and winning of Gardevoir. I also had a video breaking that down. But Gardevoir is so strong right now. And it is interesting to see, maybe it's not as implemented with Japan and stuff. But over here, I would expect a good amount of it still. We'll have to see, especially with what's coming and stuff. But it looks like even here with the compatibility table, potentially... maybe it's not the best into some of these big matchups. Zoruaku, no, X. Bridgerasu, I don't know who's playing that for sure. He's kind of been absent in our meta, but X. Dizardon, Charizard, X. Takeru Daiko, slightly advantageous. Okay, we see. I gotta ask your take as well, because like I said, I want to do this video to learn as well, to kind of go over things and make gathering info and learning, and the Pokekam meal here, it's a meal to be enjoyed with others. Isn't it? Psycho Embrace would have been a hilarious name, that's for sure. But yeah, well, once again, I did a video on that breaking it down, but Psychic Embrace is super strong, and Gardevoir super strong, especially with the use of Adrenabrain. So crazy. And yeah, new environmental trend hitting all over, shifting to Secret Box. So yeah, not only did there be, we're dealing with the Secret Box Gardevoir bang, but looks like there was Champions League Miyagi, which saw some Secret Box inclusion. Concerns over the rise in Gardevoir. Everyone listen up, because we might have this. An increase in share of Pokemon that can exploit weaknesses. I mean, yeah, I think so. I think with the Grimmsnarl, like we talked about, the Grimmsnarl is going to be really interesting because it can, I believe, hit for that weakness. And so that's going to be cool to see. Now over here, Miraidon, we kind of have a Joltik box of sort, and I think this is obviously very similar for sure, but maybe categorized under Miraidon. It's really interesting. But that one's up there as well, and definitely around. Then we also have Milotic being, it's popping up here too. The environment stuff. Surf Go, which is a Gholdengo. I think Gholdengo is pretty... it's nice. I mean, I think he's still a good deck, I would say. This one has Dragapult included as well. I think it's really interesting. I've seen some people play just the Dracloak, engine and not Dragapult, but that's super interesting. We have some good, favorable matches here and there with stuff, and so that's cool. Boosta, big X. Bridgia CX, so Arcaludon, Zoroark, Charizard. Interesting. The Blaziken EX deck. I have not seen this deck much, honestly, over here. As much as I would like, at least, too. I think it's really cool. I'm gonna have to sit down and tinker with it a little bit, but it's a cool one that I think has its little niche, but that strong niche is kind of rooting for it and stuff, and I can see why. It looks like an interesting build and stuff, and then it's just something to try. Then we can always look at it another time. But Brigida CX, which is going to be Arcaludon, I wonder, like I said, I don't think we've seen Arcaludon in our meta that much just yet. We do have it here. It was pretty low, because I guess I put it down. So, As we take a break from that, I want to make one thing certain, is that we don't quite know the future and can only speculate so far. This is fun to speculate on, but we're gonna have to see how it shakes out through lots of testing and seeing how tournaments actually end out. So, it's gonna be interesting. But one thing that is for certain is the new Rising Stars of the Destined Rivals format. I'm saying the new decks that are coming that's gonna make a big impact on the meta for sure. We do have decks like the rocket decks that are coming and stuff, but honestly, I think there's two main decks people are really looking for and looking to play and make a meta shift with potentially, and it's gonna be Grimmsnarl EX and Typhlosion. If we go ahead and look at this little sample deck list for Grimmsnarl, we're gonna look what is inside. Now, honestly, I can't wait to test with this again or play a bit more, because when I first played the Grimmsnarl EX deck, it was very early on when it was just revealed and such, and so I didn't have the best time with it, or I didn't think it was as strong as it's been showing, but really it has come out of the woodworks from in the city leagues and stuff and really shown itself to be a strong deck, and this is anticipated to be strong for us as well, not just in Japan. And if we look in here, we can see I love this scrunch text. It's very funny. Marnie's Grimmsnarl EX, with the Punk Up ability, playing this Pokemon from your hand to evolve one of your Pokemon during your turn. You can search your deck for up to 5 basic Dark Energy, that's a lot, and attach them to your Marnie's Pokemon in any way you like. Shuffle your deck. Shadow Bullet can do 180, and it also does 30 damage to one of your opponent's bench Pokemon if they have no protection like Rabska or the new Shaman. Shaman is probably going to be expected to be seen a lot because it is good bench protection. Although Shaman cannot protect against the effects of attacks like damage counters dropping from Dragapult. That means you would have to use your Rabska if you want to protect from that. But honestly, a lot of decks running Shaman, that's going to be great for avoiding the Baby Bolt destroying the bench and stuff. This deck list also features 2 Badoo. It features 3 Monkey Dory. So that's the question. How much Monkey Dory will we be seeing between Guardy and potentially with this Rising Grimmsnarl EX deck? I'm very curious to find out and see, because we already have a lot with Gardevoir, and that's a key component of the deck, I would say, and a really key part of what makes it very strong, being able to move so much damage around and stuff, and fix those numbers to take the right knockouts and ultimately get there. So I am excited to see what Grimmsnarl is going to be maybe packing and stuff, and how it's going to impact. Like, it does have a dark typing. Is it really going to, like, maybe push around Gardevoir a bit? Destroy those Ralts on the bench with the Shadow Bullet? You know, stuff like that. Attack others? It's going to be exciting to see. And I can't wait to test more and maybe go more into the deck once that is over. But the other rising star is going to be Typhlosion. Typhlosion is another popular choice for people to at least play around with right now. And you definitely should. I can't wait to as well, because this is a fun little guy, little single prize Pokemon deck. You can run 2 prize Pokemon. I think most still use Pheasantipity. Pheasantipity is a 2 prize Pokemon, but other than that, I think it's usually just the Typhlosion crew, honestly. But this guy is really, I think a lot of people are wanting to try him out. And it is cool, but I am going to be curious to see if it can disrupt the tempo of other decks and Pokemon and stuff throughout games by promoting, you know, their single prize attackers and going that way, destroying tempo a little bit, you know, stuff like that. Or is it gonna not be able to keep up with stuff? I think it also has a fixed damage ratio kind of thing with the amount of Ethan's Adventure cards in your discard pile. And that is kind of good and easy to play around too if your opponent can kind of pick up on where things are or know these numbers. And, you know, we're gonna see if that can really do it, because, yeah, I kind of worry if it's going to be versatile enough, but we'll see. I think it can still pick up wins, and it's going to be interesting to try and watch it as well. And yeah, it's going to be cool. So all in all, I think by the end, it's super fun to speculate, and I hope you enjoyed this little bit of a show regarding some of the upcoming decks, and especially how they might be looking in Japan and stuff as well, just to kind of take more info in, give you your Pokemon meal. But I hope this was helpful and fun, because it is just kind of speculation as we kind of go forward with the meta and stuff. We actually have new cards coming in Japan very, very soon with the black and white set. So we're going to have to soon go over those. But as for us, this is kind of our time to go ahead and experiment before NAIC and stuff. And it's going to be really exciting to see what comes of that. So thanks so much for watching. I would love, love, love to hear your thoughts as well, what your ideas are, what you're thinking or playing. Just tell me anything you would like, and thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe if you enjoy the content a lot and you want to see more. Come back to it. That'd be great. But ultimately, watching is still so good, and thank you so much again. So, alright, I hope you have a great day, and I hope to see you next time.